Welcome, crypto whimperers, to another splendiferous pot roast of the Rex Steemer Show, erotically bringing banksters and politicians to the edge of the vinegar stroke and then pulling out and leaving them all frustrated. Tonight's news in only slightly soiled briefs. Chinese leader Xi Jinping bans all mentions of Winnie the Pooh from China after the entire country compares him to a fat, greedy little bear with the intelligence of a sieve. Apparently, the final straw was a cartoon purporting to be of ZZ the Pooh being sexually debased by a tubby Christopher Robin who looked remarkably like North Korean trough snuffler Kim Jong-un. In direct contrast to the ethereal, photoshopped, glossy magazine toss blurb that made her a fortune and improved her media capital by 20%, Beyonce's unofficial baby shots have been leaked all over the interbot, showing the Illuminati's favourite camera piglet looking utterly haggard-faced after a 16-hour screaming labour involving chemical stimulants and Von 2's minge screws, with her hair plastered all over her sallow, unmade-up, blotchy hamster chops. Pop's favourite diva and role model for teenage girls everywhere has done more for preventing teenage pregnancies than any amount of Johnny Ats and morning after artificial plastic ovary bleeders. Her husband, MK Ultra Manglebot Jay-Z, is reported to have fucked off to the pub after a hissy fit because she snapped at him shortly after reaching 10 centimeters dilation. The twins have naturally both been given ridiculous names that would get them bog-washed if they ever went to a British comprehensive school. In Britain, Trade Secretary Liam Fox says reaching a deal with the EU on single market access should be easier to sort out than a dodgy parliamentary expenses claim. Despite the fact that lead negotiator David Davis couldn't organise a hand job in a brothel and has been described by many cabinet colleagues as thick as a Cyril Smith baguette, Brexit talks are going very well, with Britain expected to come out of it in only slightly worse shape than Fukushima. 14-year-old nerds everywhere are stickying their paisley cotton Y-fronts over the revelation that the next Doctor Who will be a woman. Not since Shakespeare ruffled some furry neck braces in the 16th century by casting a lad, playing a lass, playing a non-conforming, bi-gendered, sexually reassigned confused monkey has the sexuality of a lead character in a fictional actathon been such big news. Yes, the Gallifreyan Time Bandits will be played by posh crumpet Jodie Whittaker, and in new weekly episodes will be battling old adversaries such as Daleks, Cybermen, and the Menstrual Cramps. The new leader of Kensington and Chelsea Council has said she spent her first 2 weeks in office meeting invisible people that only she can see and hear. When challenged to give some names of local residents who were survivors of the Grenfell Tower disaster that she'd actually spoken to, she ran out of the council chamber tapping her nose and saying, "They're my friends, they only want to talk to me." Local people have spoken of their disgustoration at the announcement that they were to be rehomed in a new tower block made entirely out of cheese strings and old fish and chip wrappers. And finally, a pensioner's cock has put a Scottish grime borough on the map. This old coffin dodger from the former pockmarked town of Fife decided to spend what was left of his state heating allowance on a pair of shears and clipped his old shithead into the shape of a rooster. As a result, the Fife Council have put in an application for status as European City of Culture and appointed little Jimmy Cranky as a local ambassador. Marvellous. This is the Rex Steemer Show. Thanks for joining us. It's the 20th of Julember, and after spending the night with Prince Andrew, I finally got a knighthood. And gonorrhea. Tonight's news fisting. US authorities announced that they'd infiltrated and shut down deep web marketplaces Alphabay and Hansa. Officials in the State Department celebrated removing one of their last major competitors in the arms and drugs war. A spokesman for the American deep state said today that it was a triumph for law and order, now that only the CIA, with its long-held ethical record of loveliness, is officially the only outfit able to sell guns, cocaine and passports. Alphabay's alleged founder, Alexander Kazes, was found dead in his cell in Thailand after being humanely treated by the Thai authorities, who are well known for providing living conditions which have been described by some former prisoners as like a trip to a 1970s holiday camp run by Serco. Of course, we all know who's to blame. Bitcoin. Yes, this evil narcotic currency only ever makes the news when it's linked spuriously to something bad happening, like rabid vivisection by ISIS death bots. In other American mafia weasel news, a US court has ruled that the FBI should have access to everyone's bathroom, in case you might turn out to be a terrorist, plotting unspeakable deeds while rubbing microbeads all over your scrotum. This latest dribbling of invasive Nazi spy bastardom is all about making sure you know you live in a free country. Don't think otherwise, or you're likely to end up being given a rough talking to by a police warlock before being brutally arse-ponied with his cripple stick. So come on, America, let's wave a flag or two and get obese on Dunkin' Donuts and aspartame-laced fizzy bitumen drinks. Americans, make sure you know nothing about your proud history and how you used to be a nation of great revolutionaries, keeping the government felch-gunners in check. That's right, America, it's so much better to be a bunch of fat, lazy wankers who think it's great that given a choice between the poke in the eye by the psychotic wife of one of Jeffrey Epstein's best friends, or a blow on the head from a turtle-faced sunshine coach window licker in a fright wig, you'd all run around shouting, USA, USA, before booking your place in the Darwin Awards by eating yourself to death on 40-pound shitburgers whilst watching sports entertainment. Back across the righter side of the watery Atlantic piss bowl, British Prime Minister Theresa May achieves her lifetime ambition of being the most hated person ever, here in the nation that actually invented the wanky political circus sideshow. According to a recent poll, this strong and stable vicar's daughter is now less popular than a leper at a swingers party. This is actually quite a feat, even more so when you realise she's even more hated than some of the other British mafia dons we've had, including notable 20th century fuck piggies like Tony Blair. Yes, this lying genocidal power fetishist has the blood of about 8 million dead on his hands, which makes him a bigger murdering scumbucket than Pol Pot, Idi Amin, Mussolini and Saddam Hussein put together. He's also credited with having the most high-maintenance twat of a wife ever. Margaret Thatcher. This vomit-inducing troll bitch single-handedly broke the will of the honest British working classes, introduced Chicago crime gang economics to the country, and was personally responsible for the loss of the Great British Pelmet. Ted Heath. This wart-faced paedophilic vampire signed away British sovereignty over to the European superstate in a deal made under the table with Prince Barnard of the Netherlands in the early days of the Bilderberg Group. In between abusing small boys and making a fortune from the banking cartels by closing down traditional British industries like child snatching and crumbly white dog poos. And Neville Chamberlain, who believed everything that Hitler said, especially when he promised in writing that he was not going to do anything naughty, jawohl, and who is credited with decriminalising the welding of tortoises to buildings. In fact, the only reason Theresa May hasn't resigned yet is because the arms companies are terrified that having yet another tedious election would give the keys to number 10 Downing Street to tree-caressing pacifist jam-packer Jeremy Corbyn. Yes, bolstered by the fawning of absolutely everyone who's ever been to the Glastonbury Festival, this bearded and slightly malnourished smug bunny who resembles a teacher of smoking at a secondary modern school seems to have come from nowhere in the last couple of years, winning vote after vote that apparently he couldn't ever win, and enjoying a level of messianic worship that would make Jesus look like Robert Mugabe in comparison. But folks, pay attention, because haven't we seen all this before? When the shit goes down, you can be sure there's always a savior in the wings. In America, it was Barack Obama. He looked like a nice, young, fit, sensible black guy, ready to bring the sort of vague and ambiguous change that everyone wanted. But what he actually turned out to be was a Baxter warmongering glove puppet who managed to win a Nobel Peace Prize by only ever dropping bomb goats wrapped in Agent Orange. Not that this could happen now. I mean, you'd never expect a leader of the free world to be a lying, cheating, globalist, bankster, gobbling scuzzbucket, would you? No, of course not. The funny thing is, folks, none of this is new. It's been going on for centuries. Because for as long as we keep giving away our power to the statist Gestapo, who like to pretend that they're actually champions of the free market, but are in fact fascio-communists who've created an Orwellian state that interferes in every aspect of your life through masses of regulation, and a state education program that entrains you into thinking like a Stockholm Syndrome sufferer. Folks, don't be fooled. I'm sure Jezza really is a really nice guy. I mean, anyone who Hillary Benn hates has got to be alright, isn't he? But have you ever considered that if you only get your news drizzle from the telly box and the Murdoch-owned media conglomerates, then you might as well let them shove electrodes into your brain whilst jacking you up on a cocktail of psychosis-inducing trauma medicine, and then subjecting you, Clockwork Orange style, to a diet of brainwashing and neuro-repatterning that will make you into a docile and compliant rabbit instead of a strong, independent, sovereign human being. There they are, telling you that poor old Jeremy needs your votes, so nice things will happen. But even when he gets in, the state will still be taking half of everything you earn, using the threat of 6 months in a room with Rolf Harris if you don't, and then they'll hand it over to the bank diddlers. You'll be working till you're 120 before you see your state pension, which by then will be worth a whole 18 pence. Do something about it. Join me, Rex Steemer, along with all the other cool kids, camping out in the summer of digital love revolution. Log on to steemit.com. Be popular. You don't even have to be a sassy hot chickoletto to make money and have fun. Look at me. Even the grumbleweeds are on here and they're cool as fuck, right kids? Thanks for joining me. Tune in next time when I'll be burning a former member of East 17 to death. Ta-da for now.